Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. And thank you guys, those that have joined us over at Heart's Home. We're at 2.45 thousand subscribers. So we'd love to get that up to where EEARTS is and eventually up to where Evolutionary is. And we understand we're up against the system when it comes to the numbers game. But at the same time, the energies are changing. They are changing. And we are having a real strong effect as humanity awakens to what's been going on. We want to thank our Patreons as well and our newest Patreons.
Thank you so much, Dara and Marcus.
Thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you, Melinda, as well. You know, this could be something very big, or it could be another fizzle. But it's the energies of, again, September 23rd through 25th, that Mars, well, you know, Mars is action. First and foremost, Mars is action. It's action, action, action. Yes, it can be warlike. Yes, it can be aggressive. It's action. And Saturn's karma. Saturn is karma. And it's the positioning of these two planets in the house chart of the USA that says we are in a time of extreme change. And of course, we had the Pluto return. We have the 3 eclipses. But this particular time period that we just went through, September 23rd to 25th, you'll have those impatient people that say, oh, nothing ever happens. I mean, it's like, wake up. Hello. There's nothing happening in the world. Can you not see what the, that term, the rock is cooking? Well, can you not see what's really being cooked in front of our eyes here? This is fascinating. Now, we had the revelations, of course, of 46. We had the whole verification of money going from, the PCC. We put that up to a mirror directly into JB's bank accounts, again, with his son that he had claimed no direct knowledge of. There's other things coming out that, there's people standing down now. There's people resigning. It's going to be an avalanche. It really, really is. And some are still hoping the white hats are coming. The white hats are coming. It's us. It's all of us. We are the white hats. We have to scream from the rooftops. When we scream out, no, to a bully, then the bully will back off. But it takes everybody yelling at the top of their lungs that they're not going to stand for this anymore. So this is Arizona Treasurer Kimberly Yee. She has been notified that she will be serving as acting governor beginning later this evening till mid-morning tomorrow. This is her full statement. I will be notified that I will be serving as acting governor beginning later this evening to mid-morning tomorrow. While I'm pleased to step into the role, I will refrain from naming directors to the 13 agencies that currently have vacancies, and I will not call the Arizona legislature into session to confirm them. That being said, I do hope when the governor returns to Arizona, she will prompt name qualified directors to those important state agencies and remove the legal uncertainty that exists for all the regulatory actions taken by the agencies. I expect to see a swift resolution to this matter so we can get back to getting the work done for Arizona taxpayers. The people of Arizona deserve leaders who follow the rule of law. So the question is, where is Katie Hobbs? Is she visiting with her true boss over in Beijing? Or, has she really been indicted or something along those lines? As you see this from the AP, Arizona's governor hasn't been indicted by the state Senate, contrary to a viral claim. This was from the 25th. Interesting. See how the astrological impacts really do come out. They come out in subtle ways, but these subtle events cause avalanches. Social media users are falsely claiming that the governor of Arizona has been indicted by local lawmakers. Here are the facts. Claim she's been indicted on racketeering, conspiracy charges by the state Senate. AP's assessment is false. Of course, the AP is the system, and that's the bottom line. The Republican leadership in Arizona's Senate say no such indictment has been issued. But then again, that was the 25th. When we look to this was posted the 27th, right? 6:14 p.m. So has she? Where is she? This is on the official state letterhead for press release. And here you have just somebody tweeting out these charges again and the speaking. This is the Arizona Senate. Again, we could hear things with our own ears, and then you'll get the official media to come in and say, you didn't hear it.
I know. Not only are they going to tell you didn't hear it, they're going to say, well, this is false information, and we're going to have to put in laws so that people can't say what is true. This is exactly, I feel, something along those lines is going to happen. They have to bring about these laws of false information to really stomp on alternative media and stomp on those people that are getting the truth out there, because so many people are waking up. I'm very happy to see a lot of people, even people that other folks are working with, they're realizing that they're not going along with these things like the ouchies, but everyone's like afraid to say anything. I mean, they have us seriously afraid of each other. But then I talk to other friends who are in the medical industry, and one person after the next, they're still clueless, about these ouchies. So it's like we are so split and so divided, like we've never been split and divided before. But there's people who are at certain posts that are there to bring comfort to those who don't know what the heck is going on, and to fill them in, or to redirect them and say, no, this is not the right road for you to go down. Go down that road. It's a better road, and see how that feels. So I think that's where we're at now. We're kind of feeling our way around in the dark, helping each other where we can, and then staying with the heart chakra open, and having understanding that people are being led around by their noses and by their ears and by fear everywhere. And it's just not fair. So we have to give that understanding, to extend that out to everyone, that we haven't always been given by this administration or this whole mainstream situation.
Yeah, again, the system itself is the problem. So let's just listen a moment.
Illegal transfers have been made and provided to Runback and Jeff Ellison. The phony deeds used in the scheme to move money to candidates are created by Brittany. For-profit and non-profit PACs are also created by Brittany and used to move money for candidates. During the 22 election, ballot scanners, printers at 70 precincts suffered changes to their printer settings, despite being tested the night before the election. The changes in those settings were made through computer infiltration, not manually or by some never-before seen error. The uncontrollable ballots were placed in box 3 and allegedly driven to Runback. Witness information provided on October 2020 confirms that more than 100,000 filled-in ballots and more than $13 million were identified by some of our investigators in 2 unmarked rental cars. These vans were loaded with the ballots and cash at a private residence in Mesa.
Yeah, so what does this tell you? This tells you, again, the AP, they're on the take. And it's just obvious. It's the whole system. We can't trust the system. We cannot trust the system. Here you see State Treasurer excludes 2 Hobbs appointees from investment meetings, citing murky status. Yeah, it could be that it all gets overturned, and it could be that, and it's interesting enough, Carrie Lake is talking about running for the Senate now. So, what's going to happen as far as the Arizona governorship? I mean, will Katie Hobbs come right back and just step in place? She very well may, and then she very well may be popped out, or we'll have to see. Again, what we should be taking from this is it certainly pays to be the squeaky wheel. Yeah, at the same time, they have contingency plans. They understand that we're waking up, and they have other things in place, like tens of millions of illegal migrants, of which many are sleeper cells, and they're just waiting to go. As the State Department was hacked by China, approximately 60,000 emails stolen from the State Department, includes the email accounts of about 25 other organizations, including governmental agencies. You know, it's just so clear what is going on. It's so clear. The hack was uncovered by Microsoft and occurred around May this year. This is, again, huge cyber espionage. This is all par for the course because we're getting really close to game time. We see the weather warfare still going on. The storms over in South Africa leave thousands without power. There was some wiring that was done in shoddy ways that ended up electrocuting people, unfortunately. Again, you don't go into water that you can't, you don't know. It could be electrified. And it's just so many people have lost their lives in flooding around the world. We see Uzbekistan here, a massive explosion at a customs warehouse in customs. This was at an airport, international airport. Yeah, Uzbekistan used to be part of the Soviet Union, and again, would be aligned with Russia in the coming war. Estonia plans to rename Russian Kaliningrad. Now, Kaliningrad is an enclave of Russia that has Lithuania to the north, Poland to the south, basically. And so this would be one of the first targets in a greater European theater, would be connecting it, and they'd probably go through the corridor that goes right through Poland and Lithuania to connect it to Russia. That's your likely expansion. I mean, there's sources out there that say that this is exactly what Wagner is going to do, and this is the whole real reason why Wagner has moved so many troops into Belarus, is to go ahead and do this. Because Wagner, again, when you think about it, they're not really the Russian military. They're themselves. So, again, they can perhaps attack and not have a formal declaration of NATO versus Russia, NATO versus BRICS war. This is a highly contested area, by the way. Nagorno-Karabakh Republic will no longer exist, says a local leader. Azerbaijan, Armenia, this whole area, this is all an area that's been in fire before, will go up in fire again. There's a lot of movement right now. That's really the point of all this. There's a lot of movement. We're getting ready for some major breakouts of conflict like we have not seen since WW2. And as you see here, the dollar, remember, the ruble is rubbish. Well, the dollar is going to be doo-doo. And that's the truth. That's what they have planned. Payments in national currencies between Russia and India up 5 times in 2023 year on year. So again, India has certainly economically chosen their side. They are the eye in BRICS, after all. Now, if India was to mobilize with China, that's almost 3 billion people of the world's 8 billion, if there is still 8 billion on the planet. That's a massive force between just those two countries. Philippines and the U.S. to hold maritime drills in the South China Sea from October 2nd to 13th. And then what's the 14th? The 14th is the eclipse. Ah, yes, the second eclipse. That runs from Oregon through Texas. Tennessee to consider cutting off federal government funding for education. Again, there's a lot of states that lean strong right that are up to the point where they're just about done. And this is part of still that bigger plan. And the time is running out of the hourglass before they have certain goals to be met. And I do think, the world will be completely at war come April, June of next year. It does feel that time frame is complete go, where we see conflicts escalating in multiple areas, and they want us to be in chaos before that happens. They want the U.S. to be fighting amongst itself far more than we have been, even though we do see all sorts of just rampant crime in Philly. All liquor stores have been closed after at least 18 were broken into after last night's mass looting in Philadelphia. Well, you could say in the big cities, I don't think the stores are ever really closed because people will just simply break in and take what they want.
Mm-hmm. They will. And that's how they're getting us pit against each other. And that's what I don't like to see things like this, but showing examples of how they're pitting us against each other, how we are crippling one another because one party thinks the other party is taking advantage, or, and it's about coming together. It's about getting along. It's about having understanding. It's about changing the way things are done and understanding that policy and procedure is not always the best way just to do everything. Not everything is so black and white. And, our children, I think, is where it's at, teaching our children to appreciate a sunrise, to appreciate a sunset, to appreciate a garden growing. I just bought my grandkids, I just got them all these little starter kits so that they could grow their own herbs and tomatoes, because I want them to have an appreciation for nature. And I think we need to really focus in on our kids and show them that nature is where it's at.
So fix the border or no more Ukrainian funding. Again, billions more constantly going over to Ukraine, really against the will of most people in the U.S. But we're not speaking up enough. We need to speak up more. We need to really find ways to work together to make the entire system irrelevant. As long as we're using any of their monies, as long as we're using Russian rubles or US dollars or the pound or the euro or whatever it is, the new CBDC, then we're still trapped. It's when we decide, hey, let's figure out some sort of organized barter trade system. Let's figure out some sort of, because, here's another thing for you. And there was a comment where somebody said, why are all these YouTube channels trying to get everybody to go to Patreon where they can make money? It's like, well, there should be an energy exchange. If you get a benefit from something, if something illuminates you, helps you get clarity, there really should be an energy exchange, because, people shouldn't really have to give of themselves without being supported in some sort of way. How do we come up with a barter and trade system that's fair for everybody? So, these are the questions for people with much better economic minds than my own. And Cindy, I'm sure, will concur as well. Mm-hmm. We don't have the answer for that. But again, if it's more of a barter and exchange system, it can't be so parasitic, because the system's parasitic. They tax. They tax you on things like you buy a vehicle. We pay tax on moving our vehicle to a new state. We already pay tax in the state we bought the vehicle from, and then another state taxes us because we moved to a new state. It's like we paid sales tax twice on a vehicle. You own your property, or do you? What happens when you don't pay your property taxes? They'll take it from you. This is a parasitic system. This is the entirety of the system that has to completely be eradicated. As long as we're in the system using their money, we're still going to be slaves. And yet people need to understand that there needs to be an energy exchange, and give willingly of that exchange. So, what we see is more like, honoring skills. Again, Michael, what's his name? Ubuntu. Yeah, Tellinger. With Ubuntu, what are your skills with? Hey, you're a teacher. Okay, well, then, you could help guide. You're great with gardening. Well, then you could teach gardening skills. And, things like that. Work out some sort of exchange system. Somebody's great with woodworking, somebody with electrical, somebody with plumbing, great auto mechanic. Again, it goes on and on and on. Figure out a way to develop an exchange system, because again, we all have our own likes and dislikes. And when we're doing something we enjoy, then it's not really work. It's wonderful. So we should all be able to cultivate and explore those areas of things that make us truly hum and happy to be alive, and make us excited to like go and go, face another day, instead of that dreariness that so many people feel when they got to go back to work on Monday. Oh, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that at all. It should be like, oh, wow, this is awesome. I wonder what I could get done today. I'm going to plant this. I'm going to make that. I'm going to come up with a new musical piece or a new piece of art. This is the type of thing, something creative, something that we enjoy. This is where the system has to change. We should never be doing things that don't make us excited.
Mm-hmm. Definitely focus on the children, because the children are our future. And if we can teach them that life should be more symbiotic than parasitic, they're the ones who are really going to be the game changers in all of this. But it is going to take for us to help show them. And believe me, if we are not teaching our children, these people are coming through the back door through all kinds of different programs, through all kinds of different platforms, and they are coming in and they are teaching your children. And we know that that's not working out well. So it's like we have to take that back, and they're doing everything they can to take our children away from us and re-educate them. And we really cannot have that. This system was designed to be symbiotic. So if you are doing something and bringing light to someone's life, then that is going to upgrade their level of living, and then they can do something to bring more light. I mean, it should be buildings stacking on top of each other, not one person coming to knock every other person's building down. That's not the natural way of things. And this whole system has been infected with such a parasitic entity, and we can really look in the 3D and we can see that, and we can even see that in different dimensions, the parasitic nature of all things that are not natural. This world is not the way it's intended to be, but we have it within our power. We can change it. We just need to stand on our own too. We need to stand strong, and we need to stand against all of these things that they're trying to push down our throats.
Yeah, so you have 4 days to a government shutdown, and they're talking about, again, stopping all the illegal immigrants coming in, which, again, there's tens of millions. It's a little bit late. And that's the point. This is all coming out a little bit late. Yet what they're talking about with sending billions and billions for war, of which, again, a couple of hundred people more died on the front yesterday, and a couple hundred might not sound a lot when there's billions, but every single life is a loved one, and we lose sight of all this. This war didn't have to be in the first place. This is all about. It's not about the freedom of Ukraine, and it's not about really even impinging on Russia. This is against humans. This is against the planet. And they are actively using depleted uranium on the battlefield. Again, that's more toxins. It's going to lower human life expectancy. This is such a horrible system that's in place. The system needs to go. And when you saw the IRS size being proposed to double, it's because they know people are going to wake up and say, I don't want to support all this chaos. I don't want to support, because what am I doing? I'm working until May to basically support the system, which is, causing such horrible atrocities in the world. It's something you get to the point where you just can't do anymore. They realize all this because they realize we're waking up. Meanwhile, thousands of migrants being dropped off on San Diego's streets. All over the country. This is a video that YouTube has record of us uploading January of 2018. And I shared, again, visions that I had. And, from 2007, I've lived in mostly the Southeast and, Florida and the Carolinas. And these visions, they come at regular intervals, and they go back to 1983 and 1984 as the first times that I had them. So I shared what I saw, and I just wanted to play this for you guys because, again, 2018, that was a long time ago. This was January 2018. So, we're coming up on this being 6 years almost. The very first time I was living up in Connecticut, and then once I had the dream in South Carolina, that was the clearest. And where I'm seeing the troops, it's very warm. It feels like it's somewhere in the southeastern United States, where I currently am living. And I can see them clearly being dropped from helicopters en masse, and it's cloudy, and there's like helicopters that pop into these big dark, rain clouds that you get down south, and then pop out, and different troops dropping down. And people are running, and people are, becoming refugees, and they're moving away from the coast, and they're moving up, especially from South Florida, because it feels like South Florida is a place where troops have landed and not ours. So here it feels like the United States is being invaded. The only thing that more the logical mind is saying is basically Russia, China, and others are the ones doing it. But I didn't see those troops, but I knew and kept hearing from people that they've landed, down around Miami and down around the Everglades, and they're moving on up, and there's a huge refugee swell of people rushing away from that area and heading up northward, trying to get up away from where the troops have landed. And I also feel in those dreams there's troops coming in from like Mexico, as well as coming down from Alaska and Canada into the United States as well. And people are just in a panic, and people are just running and becoming refugees. Yeah, and again, so many of these visions of the same thing have been had not just by myself, but by others over the years. I venture to say I would not be surprised if millions of people, hundreds of thousands or millions of people, literally had these visions, because this time is, in my opinion, I think we are less than a year away from seeing these things happen. And again, this is their card. As people wake up, they still have cards to play. They've talked about Disease X. They've talked about all sorts of cyber warfare. They've given us literally government panels that have studied what would happen if we have an EMP and we don't have the grid for 6 months. Yeah, this time period is just ahead of us. I do think the heaviest hitting of this is April to summer of next year. That's when it feels like it goes really bonkers. But I do think that it starts the last quarter of this year. So, again, it's reason to be prepared. And here you have hundreds of Victorians. This is, again, the land down under there, turning out to celebrate the resignation of Dan Andrews. I've never witnessed such scenes of joy. Huge relief to many. Yeah, absolutely. So what do we see? We see a lot of people stepping down. We see a lot of buzz. It's going to escalate. Yeah, this is that September 23rd through 25th energy. The thing is that as that happens, they will pull other cards out of their sleeves, and we need to be aware of that. So yes, the Allies beat the Axis, but the NAZISs didn't lose. Absolutely not. Again, Werner von Braun became head of NASA. You see the head of the EU Commission here, Walter Hallstein. Adolf Holsinger, NATO's chief of staff. Kurt Waldheim, Secretary General of the UN. Yeah, no, they were honestly rewarded. And we've remote viewed Hitler. He never died. They that was not his body. This is from George St. Pierre, one of the best mixed martial artists ever. Did you know this timeline of fasting? So you see 4 to 8 hours, blood sugar drops, 12 hours, human growth hormone increases, 16 hours, the fat burning begins, 18 to 20 hours, this is key, autophagy begins. What's autophagy? That's cells cleaning themselves out. Since we are comprised of so many cells, and since we are so just inundated with toxins, we have to be doing this regularly. Now, of course, it depends on your health. Unfortunately, people that have been on a standard American diet, a SAD diet, you're going to have a hard time even making it maybe 12 hours. 36 hours, autophagy increases 300%. If you could make it a day and a half, you are clearing out toxins at an extraordinarily fast rate. 48 hours, human growth hormone increases 500%. This is incredible. This is the fountain of youth. 54 hours, insulin sensitivity increases. 72 hours, autophagy peaks. Ideally, I mean, if you could build up to doing 48 to 96, you can certainly remove all sorts of toxic and cancerous cells and materials from your body. Now, we're not recommending that, hey, you go from Wendy's, McDonald's, and Burger King every day to trying to do 72 to 96 hours. You'll be a mess. You have to do things gently and in stages, like literally shooting for 12 hours. Like if you go to bed at 8, and you're used to snacking, wait till breakfast. Then maybe get yourself to where you could skip breakfast, wait till lunch, and, again, get into a gradual clearing and cleaning up of the body, because also toxins are stored in the fat. You release a ton of toxins. You got to make sure that you're drinking good water. Yes, there is dry fasting as well, but that's even more advanced per se. And you want to give your body time to clear the toxins. And you could also do things like baths and exercise. Again, we need to be moving and purging ourselves, because why do you think we have so much, T cancer, TURBO? Yeah, there's many reasons for that. And we know the primary reason, that's pretty obvious. But this is all the more reason to use the natural way of getting rid of all the, creeping crud, literally creeping crud, creeping around in your veins. And, that's not a pleasant thought. But
no, it's not. But this whole system is not a pleasant thought, but we can change that. I mean, baby steps when it comes to fasting. If you're really one who's, if you need your sugar, you want to check yourself. I mean, even start at 4 hours, then go to 6 hours, increase at that level, just really baby steps if you're just now starting, because your body is going to start purging all of these things that it's had to, all the toxins they put into your fat cells. So when you do start to purge, it's like the fat cells are releasing all this gunk, and it's going to have to make sure that the lines of purging are clear. So you probably we like Mindy Pelz. We love Mindy Pelz. We always defer to her. So women are far more sensitive to fasting than men. And she does talk to you about how to fast on your cycle, how to utilize your cycle to the best of your ability to make the most out of your fasting. Because if you fast at the wrong time of your cycle, it could make your hormones dip or peak in ways that's just going to kind of mess up the body. So we definitely don't want to do that. Do your research before you do this. And then baby steps. Baby steps take us everywhere. Just like in life, you always remember, babies crawl before they walk before they run. Life in anything we take on, we have to look at it that way. We have to crawl, then we have to learn to walk, then we have to learn to run. And all of this takes time. And also keep in mind, Mother Nature, she works with time and she works with perfection. So give yourself a lot of patience when you're trying to heal something, when you're trying to change your life. Know that that change is going to take time. And remember, the system has us on a Band-Aid fix where if something's wrong, we just go to the MD, he slaps a Band-Aid on it. But really, that's just energy that's building up in the background. And it's going to cause problems because it's not balanced. Life is on a balanced teeter-totter, and we're here to master that.
Yeah, so again, we'll refer to her since she's an actual MD.
Yes.
So I'll include the link again. Now, evidence of a wooden structure that predates our species uncovered. Again, Denisovans and Neanderthals and all these other species that came before us, they make them out to be so monkey-like, so It's hilarious. No. These beings were not as unintelligent as they make them out to be. This is part of the reveal. They simply understood that they want to live in harmony with nature. They understood that they were part of something. So, yeah, they did utilize technologies of a sort, but they chose always to be in harmony with nature. And this is not made by Homo sapiens, according to the experts. And it shows, again, some advanced knowledge, some advanced understanding. This is going back 800,000 years, they say, at least. That we weren't taught in the old days. This is part of the big reveal. Oh no, the thing that's mind-boggling for most would be understanding that there have been so many non-human species coming and going from this planet in these other ages. It was a given, and we've tried to touch on that in so many different videos, and we'll go deeper down those rabbit holes again. When we talk about the wars of the gods, well recognized immediately when you're talking to a Vedic scholar. They understand what we're talking about. It's given in the Hindu holy books that there are over 100,000 different types of humanoid species in our galaxy. This was common knowledge and taught. And it's so hidden, obviously, in the Abrahamic tradition, but it's there. And again, it's how words are interpreted. And, we had the comment that, again, those Masoretic texts were meticulously done and there's no mistranslations. Yes, there's mistranslations. There's obvious mistranslations because there's conflicting ones. And we will go into that too in Evolutionary with the new series that we're doing on deeper diving into the Bible, as we got like another whole dozen or more books in tomorrow, which now, I'm back in that gobbling mode and studying mode. I would fly through books every day and literally be reading for hours all night long. It's just, we don't sleep that much, so. And a lot of people are having problems sleeping. That's part of the ascension process. We won't actually need as much sleep as we get out of the Kali Yuga. And as we get away from the toxins, you're going to find you're going to need very little sleep. You're going to be more like a dog. You sleep when you want, but it might be an hour here. It might be, 2 hours there. It might be a half-hour nap. Again, that is a Taoist saying too. And we'll go more into that too. So here you have Netanyahu, who is again back in power yet again, saying that it wasn't the NAZISs that were all about the HOLO cost. And, that word really actually means to burn until there is nothing left. That's literally how it translates in Hebrew. It means burning till there's nothing but smoke and ashes and nothing left. He was saying it was caused by the Muslims. Now, again, when we go back to 1871, Albert Pike, this division's purposeful. This is, again, it's hey, look, humans, they're all united. We can't have this. We got to keep them fighting each other. Then they won't notice. It's us doing the manipulating. Yeah, it's this hatred, and it just is nonstop. And until people are willing to step up. Some of the most best intentioned people cannot let go of the indoctrinated mindset. And they have hearts of gold, but they still can't let go of the indoctrinated mindset. And then they're still susceptible because they still have this thought in their mind that, say, for instance, that little strip of land belongs to Israel because Yahweh said so. Well, who is Yahweh? That's the reveal. And it's not who people think it is. No, that is not the creator of this universe. Far from it. And, we could do, and we will eventually do, we could do, 20 videos, an hour long each, going deep diving into who exactly Yahweh is. It's not who you think, and he doesn't have a heart like these little guys.
No, these little guys are just simply adorable.
Absolutely. It's all part of the reveal. And some of it is really painful, especially when the indoctrination is so deep, or for decades you've thought, I got this all figured out. And then all of a sudden there's something new that hits you. And it has to be that realization in a gnosis type of way. Again, Gnostics, gnosis, that's something that's experiential. That's not saying, oh, wow, I read this text and now I believe. No, don't believe anything. Belief leads you off a cliff. You have to know, and it has to be something that resonates from within.
Look at our belief systems. I mean, they are so critical, and I've said this before. People with the biggest hearts of gold that have a lot of power, they're operating through their belief system. The belief system is what can really get so many people in trouble, and this is what the controllers know. So they put the information out there that's going to behoove them the most, and people just walk down that path because they think that they're acting with their heart chakra. They want to do something good. That's just simply human nature. We want to be something. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves, and we want to embrace it. We want to be good. We want to help others. It's that want and that desire also that can get us into trouble. So it's a lot about, internal reflection, taking a look at yourself, taking a look at your belief system. A lot of people just aren't there. They're not able to, so they just stay with the current belief system, what they think is safe. Because once you do recognize that, hey, all of this time, I was believing in something and I was wrong. It really plays on the psyche when that gets cracked open. It's like, oh my gosh, now I have to go back and look at every other thing that I've done all throughout my life. And it's not an easy thing to do. So just go very slow, be gentle on yourself, and, extend that understanding out to others as much as possible.
Yeah, and just in this last 5 minutes, the next video is clear to me. So we'll be delving into that to get into more details. So as always, guys, and thank you for your support again over on Patreon. Patreon does get unique videos. Every couple of days, there'll be a video up there that won't go up anywhere else. And we do appreciate you guys' support. We love that you're on this journey with us, and we really truly pray that every single one of you will be kept safe in these times, and that you may live up to your highest potential for this life.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.